Welcome back to It's So Worth It, So Make It. I'm Claudia, and today I'm taking you back to the Czech Republic for dessert. I'm going to show you how to make sweet cheese dumplings with a fruit sauce. Wait, did you say cheese and dumplings in the same sentence together and in a dessert? Yes, that's right. We are going to use a special cheese today. It's called farmer's cheese, or in certain countries of Europe, you can find it known as tvaroh or turo. And also in the United States, this can be difficult to find. Look in the health food store or even international grocery store. You should be able to find it there. If not, no problem. I also tested the recipe using ricotta cheese and it works out just fine. So let's get started. Here's what you're going to need for this recipe. Assembled in front of us, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is take our semolina flour and put it in our mixer. Now I'm using a paddle attachment with my mixer. It's just a little bit easier to mix these things together because it does make a dough that's rather stiff at first. So you can do this by hand on your board or something like that. That's totally fine. Be prepared to do a little bit of work. I hire out help for that. So use your mixer. It's a great help. And here is our farmer's cheese, or you can also use ricotta cheese for this recipe. The amounts are the same. Here we go, into the mixer. And as you can see, it's quite crumbly. This is not the same as cottage cheese. Please don't use cottage cheese in this recipe. It's going to be too wet. You're going to have to fuss a lot with the cottage cheese beforehand. It's not worth the effort to do that. If you must substitute, you cannot find the farmer's cheese, ricotta cheese is fine, and that is widely available. All right, now our eggs, just drop them in there, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of almond extract, and you can also use vanilla if you don't have almond. In fact, you could use any kind of flavored extract in here. I'm not going to call the food police on you. These are your desserts. You make them how you like them. Now, let's get to mixing. All right, now I have mixed this for about 30 seconds in my mixer, and it comes out looking very crumbly, and you're going to look at this and say, this looks very much like a crumbly Play-Doh or something, but don't worry about it. This is how it's supposed to look at this stage. And also, if you take it up in your hands and if you mush it around a little bit, it's going to feel a little bit stiff. And so what we need to do now is we need to cover this for about 15 to 20 minutes and let it rest. After 15 or 20 minutes, the dough is going to be much softer and easier for you to form into your dumpling balls. So we'll just cover this with a towel and set it aside. Now is a good time, while you're waiting for that to rest, to start on your fruit sauce. And today I'm making a blueberry fruit sauce. You can use any kind of frozen fruit that you like. You can use fresh fruit. Just make sure that if it's a kind of fruit that has a pit or a large seed, like cherries or peaches or nectarines or apples, anything like that, make sure you take the seeds out first before you start to cook it down. So just take your 2 cups of frozen or fresh fruit, about 3/4 cups of water, and sugar to taste. Some people don't want a sauce that's very sweet. Others want things that are more sweet. I'm a little bit in between, so I'm going to leave it up to you how much sugar you want to put in there. Taste your sauce as you're cooking it. That's going to tell you how much you want to put in.
Place the sauce ingredients into a medium saucepan. Turn the heat to high and bring it to a boil, stirring occasionally. Cook your sauce for 5 minutes, then remove it from the heat and let cool. Now is the perfect time to put a large pot of water on the stove. Turn the heat to high and bring it to a boil while you make your dumplings.
All right, now that we've got our fruit sauce all cooked up and ready to go, and we've put our large pot of water on the stove to boil, I'll show you how to make these dumplings. Let's get to shaping. Okay, so I've made a few already, and the key process here is I found that it's much easier to do small pieces of this dough at a time as opposed to trying to knead the entire thing. You're going to get very tired if you try to knead the entire thing by hand. It's a lot of work, and I just find that doing it with little pieces of dough is a lot more fun. So we just tear off a golf ball size piece of this dough and just take it in your hands and start mushing it around. And what's going to happen here, and you'll notice by the way that after that 20 minutes of sitting, your dough is going to be much softer and easier to work with. So mush this all around, and what's going to happen is the cheese in there is going to break down some more because it's kind of crumbly. It's going to break down and incorporate into your semolina flour a lot easier. So just mush it around. You can do this on your work surface, whatever it takes to do to get things going here and all fully incorporated. And we're just going to make little balls out of this. And you can make them any size you want, but decide on what size you're going to make and try to make them all the same. That way the cooking will go a lot smoother. They'll all cook at the same rate. So here we go. We have one little ball, and I'll do one more to show you. And we just take it in our hands, mush it all around, have some fun. This is a great thing for kids to do. So if you have some kids running around in your house and they're wrecking the place and you need them to focus on something, this is a great way to get them to be quiet for about 10 minutes. And I know to most people 10 minutes does not sound like a long time, but if you have kids, 10 minutes is like an eternity when there's peace. So get them in the kitchen, have them wash their hands really well, and give them a piece of dough and let them go to town. Even if you don't get them to be productive in the fact that they make the balls for you, they'll be quiet, and sometimes that's definitely a win for us moms. So now, we've got our balls made, and if you do the entire recipe, it will make approximately 30 dumplings, and this is what they look like. All right, now I think our water is boiling, so let's go over and start cooking.
Begin by carefully placing 8 to 10 dumplings in the boiling water. Give it a gentle stir to make sure they don't stick to the bottom. Then set your timer for 7 minutes. After 5 to 6 minutes, your dumplings will begin to float. Take one out and check for doneness by cutting it in half. This dumpling is not done. See how it's still white in the middle? This one is cooked all the way through. Good job.
So here's how you present this. So you can use a plate or a small bowl. These can be rather filling, so I would say maybe 4 for an adult, maybe 2 or 3 for a kid. But you know, right now, after I've been cooking and doing all this, I'm pretty hungry. So I have 7. That's too many, but that's okay. So here's how you're going to finish this up. Your blueberry sauce that you made earlier is nice, and it's not cool, but it's not hot anymore. It's just sort of lukewarm, which is perfect. And we just want to drizzle this on top of our dumplings, like so. And it just looks like the dessert god came down and visited me and said, make this dessert, please. I said, okay. So I did. And here you are, ready to go. Now, this is my favorite part of every video that I make when it comes to the cooking, is tasting what I have made. And let's see how I did. So you can actually quarter these, cut them in half, or make them a little bit smaller if you like, because they are a mouthful if you try to get an entire one into your mouth. And they're kind of hot, so let's not burn ourselves. All right. They're perfect. It's chewy, but not so chewy that it's like rubber. It's perfect. It's like an al dente pasta, because basically that's what you've made here. I mean, it's semolina flour and eggs, right? This is how you make pasta. And you can change the flavor profile of the dough if you like. You can put lemon rind in there for a lemony flavor. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. And as far as the fruit sauce is concerned, you can do a lot of fun things with this too. First of all, if you don't happen to have any fruit in your house, any frozen fruit, another good option for a topping for this is jam. or jelly or preserves or anything like that that you have in the cupboard. Just get it out, put it in the pan, warm it through, it'll loosen up, it'll thin out a little bit. Perfect. You don't have to add sugar, you don't have to do anything to it, it's just right the way it's going to be. The other thing that you can do is if you are cooking a fruit sauce like this, you can do some fun things with balsamic vinegar, or you could even add some liquor. If there are no children around and you want to be sneaky, you could do that. Cointreau, triple sec, anything that's fruity. Even a hazelnut liqueur or anything like that would be fantastic. Spiked in here. Just, you know, maybe a couple tablespoons is all you need for absolute dessert perfection. But it's really good just like this too. So, I have to tell you, it's amazing. The Czechs know how to eat. I'm so happy that I come from a line of the Czech Republic, so please, it's so good. It's so worth it, so make it. You're really going to enjoy this. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Have anything like